on. All right, fish on, baby. Fish on. Not an easy bite today by any means, but I was able to get that one with one of my turbo flashers and a threaded worm. Very difficult bite this morning. Took me about 3 hours to get the first hit, but it is fish on, baby. Flasher and a worm. It's money. Always. Oh, he's putting up a struggle now. Nice fish. Nice rainbow. Awesome. Oh yeah, right there. On the turbo flasher. That is dandy. That is going home for dinner. There he is, pretty standard planner. He is going home for dinner. Looking forward to it. I haven't caught a trout in a while with this pandemic, and he's going to look just fine in the frying pan. That's awesome. It's been tough this morning, so I'm glad to have that fish, and hopefully the bite's coming on. Fish on the turn. Just like that. Awesome. Got some slack in the line, so I got to stay on the pedals right for a minute here. Here we go. Awesome. Turbo flasher, getting it done. That is awesome. And fish was at 1.6 miles an hour, about 15 feet deep, and I got him right on the turn. I just really put the rig back in the water. Here we go, about 20 feet away now. Just keep nice forward momentum. I'm going 1.4 right now. Keeping my other line straight out so it's not in the way, and keeping that fish nice and straight behind the kayak until I'm ready to make my move. There we go. And the turbo flasher. That's awesome. Oh man, that's exciting. Another little pan-sized trout right there. He's going on the stringer. Going on the stringer with his buddies. And he didn't even mess up my worm that time. Worm's looking good. Awesome. Think lead core line's obsolete? Well, think again. Look at those big, beautiful rainbows. I got these fish while trolling 15 to 20 feet deep, and I didn't use a downrigger. If you don't want the expense or hassle of using a downrigger, pick up one of my yellow lead core rods in the Fish Hunt Shoot Productions store and get ready to yell, fish on. Just like that, baby. Howdy guys, Kel Kellogg here. Well, as you could tell from the beginning of this video, I actually got out on the water this week and actually caught some rainbow trout. In fact, I caught quite a few rainbows and had a real good time doing it. They were just planters. They're actually kind of semi-holdover planters, but it sure was good to be out on the water catching fish again. Having said that, you know, the fish at the lake, they were very active. They were actively feeding, but they were not easy to catch. Why? Well, the problem was they were feeding on aquatic insects. Early in the day, they were feeding on nymphs as they ascended to the surface. And then after that, they started feeding on the nymphs as they sat on the surface and transitioned into winged insects. Whenever stuff like that is going on, the fish can be extremely hard to catch on gear. And that's what I found. They would not hit my spoons. I started off fast, you know, fast and aggressive, speed spoons all the way, no strikes. I slowed down, I transitioned to trigger spoons, still nothing. I tried a mag lip and a trigger spoon junior, I still couldn't get hit even though I'd slowed down to about 1.5 miles an hour. Now, if you've watched, you know, much of my stuff here on YouTube, you know what was coming next. I busted out my Canon night crawlers. When the going gets extremely tough and my back is up against the wall, I reach for the natural bait. I got out a pair of slow death hooks, just like this one here. I threaded one worm on a slow death hook and trolled it naked. I don't know why, go figure. Trout are crazy, they make us crazy. I don't know why, but that naked worm would not get hit. The other worm rigged it up the same way, and I ran it behind a flasher, and that was the one that got all the action for me. I was running this flasher right here. You heard me mention it on the video. It's a new type of flasher that I've been playing with. It's called a turbo flasher. Very low drag. It works at low speeds. It works at high speeds. Look how long that spins. I mean, it just spins and spins and spins. It puts out flash. It puts out vibration. And this week it was a day saver. It was pulling those fish in. They were picking off that worm, and I was having a good time. Now, the first fish you saw me catch, it really illustrates how tough the bite was. That fish didn't just blitz up there and grab that worm. He was playing with it, and I was off the pedals. I was on the pedals. I was speeding up. I was slowing down. Basically, I was toying with that trout. He kept getting little bits and pieces of that worm, and he eventually committed. The second fish, it was almost as tough to hook him. I was on a turn, and my gear had started to drop, and only then did he commit and really take the bait. After that, they did get a little more aggressive, but by no means was it an easy bite. Let me show you how I got this turbo flasher rigged. Well, first of all, I'm running the worm about, I'm gonna say 24 inches behind the flasher. I didn't want it too long. I didn't want it too short. I broke the leader off to 24 inches, and hey, it was working. But here's how I rig these flashers. This is my main line right here. My main line comes down, as always. I go through a bead right there so I can see where the rig is. You know, low light conditions when I'm reeling in, because I don't always have a flasher on my line. Sometimes I'm just running a leader on a fly, a leader and a spoon, a naked spoon, something like that. So got the bead there, kind of a visual indicator where that swivel is, and I've got that backed up with a trolling swivel. In this case, it's a P-line trolling swivel, and I have attached a crosslock snap to that. Now the flasher itself, I've got it rigged on a section of 20-pound fluorocarbon line, and how I did that, flasher's got a tiny little hole in the middle of it. So I took a swivel, I tied on the section of 20-pound fluoro, I put a bead on it, then I threaded on the flasher. Oh, here comes some motorcycles. Okay, I'm back. It was some young guy on a motorcycle, and there was a blonde girl in a white sports car right behind him. So I guess they're out having a good old time. Back to my flasher. Here's how I rig it. As I said, I like to rig the flasher on 20-pound fluorocarbon line. I rig up a few, just keep them in the tackle box. Whenever I want to use a flasher, just snap them in my line. So right here, I start off with, I take about a 12-inch section of the 20-pound fluoro. I tie on just a standard barrel swivel. I put on a bead right there. Then I put on the turbo flasher. It's got a hole through the middle, so I just thread it on that 20-pound line, put on another bead, and I follow it all up with a snap swivel, and that's where I run my leader off that snap. Now that bead behind the turbo flasher, that just acts as a bearing for the flasher to spin right against it, just like that. It works very well. It gives it great freedom of movement. It spins and spins, and it just flat out works. You can use them with threaded worms. You can use them with spoons, flies, grubs. Pretty much anything you would run an ordinary set of flashers with works with the turbo flasher. It's pretty subtle. It puts out a lot of vibration and flash, but it offers minimum resistance coming through the water. It doesn't drag real bad. It doesn't sink your gear. So if you're trolling it off a downrigger and you want to troll close to the bottom, you don't have to worry about the flashers running deeper than the ball and tangling the bottom in situations where you're going to be trolling, very near the bottom. Anyway, I dig them. They come in a lot of different colors. This one here is probably my favorite. It's the chrome rainbow color. It's got some chrome, some pink, and some blue. You know me, I just like that type of coloration. It's got that bait fishy kind of rainbow trout coloration. Just works for me. I got a lot of confidence in that color, and confidence means a lot. But they do come in a full range of other colors: pink, fire, tiger, chartreuse, stuff like that, straight chrome, chrome and red, blah, blah, blah. Lots of different colors. The bottom line is, if you get out on a lake and you're struggling, if they're feeding on insects, or even if they're not, if you can't get the fish to go on standard hardware, bust out those night crawlers. don't go trout fishing without a can of worms, because sometimes they will absolutely save the day. Get out the worms, get out the slow death hooks, locate an area where you know there are trout holding, slow down, grind on that area, and you're almost always gonna catch some fish. When I was out at the lake, I had no problem finding the fish. I could see them breaking on the surface. So I just concentrated on those areas that were showing fish activity. When I got a fish going on the worm, I played with them until they committed. It was fish on. I was happy. Took home a limit. My dad got some fish. I got some fish. You can't beat that. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for all the support you've been giving the channel. 3.1 million views, about 11,000 subscribers now. If it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be possible. I hope to see you guys out on the water soon. And remember, if you're looking for tackle, go check out my store on the fishhuntshoot.com website. That's where I have all my stuff, my rods, reels, spoons, tubes, all that stuff's on there. Stuff you see me fishing on the channel, stuff I believe in, and stuff that I offer up at a very fair price. Anyway, I've babbled long enough. I am out of here. Don't forget the night crawlers, and I will catch you next time right here on YouTube, guys. You have a wonderful day and stay healthy.